Oh wait, I haven't even checked
The stream settings.
Yeah.
Wait, up.
There we go. Alright. Well, okay. This is a quick little, I want to do a little quick recap on this game. Like the description down below, we do not own any rights.
It is all covered under the Fair Use Act for critic purposes and review.
We're just doing this as like I said, a little quick recap for a simple fact that we just want to talk about the game in general.
I mean, not even really more or less the game itself, but it's just the series in general. You know, where it's gone, and you know what we think could have been better and stuff. You know,
and what kind of turn it took.
Right. Like, I mean, Seven tried. I mean, they tried. I think.
Honestly, I mean, get this. The last time I played this game, you know, all the way through, back when I was actually a junior in high school.
Right.
A sophomore transitioning into a junior. The summer of... Yeah, go for it. Honestly, I fucking love this game.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a whole lot about this game in particular because it's the one that honestly I spent the least amount of time with throughout all of them. My childhood mainly focused around like Resident Evil 2 and 3, more or less. I played those two a lot because those two were my favorite. I mean, like I remember a lot about Code Veronica, like how you start out in jail cell, and then you break out of the jail cell. The guy's dying, gives you a knife, and then you go out and you find a briefcase, and you have to stash the briefcase inside the thing, and you get the special, and you know do all this extra stuff to get the special alloy to make the badge to do all the extra stuff.
Well, the whole thought of it was when the first time I ever played through this game in general was, you know, I could care less about what you had to do. I mean, the one thing that I fucking love about this game was the whole simple fact that it still stuck to the tried and true original Resident Evil games for a simple fact that the puzzles were still difficult.
See, that's the thing I liked about it, alright, is they give you a piece to a puzzle you didn't even know existed. You didn't even know what you needed to do with that. You just got it. You know you got it.
And here's another thing that makes it more interesting was you literally had to be a little bit more observant. You literally had to go into your inventory and
examine shit.
Examine the item.
Right. And it wasn't all super straightforward like the games are now. Like I get it. You know, they're trying to appease to the younger generations. You know, who don't like to think very much. You know, it's basically just a point and shoot. You know, and follow the character kind of situation. But I mean, for the long time, you know, and I've been through the original series, you know, and seen how things were, and I just feel like honestly, anything like from 5 and up is just an insult to Resident Evil.
Well, get this. Here's another thing that really pissed off the original Resident Evil fans was the simple fact that they wanted to go and make the Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 more Call of Duty-esque and abandon the complete survival horror element.
And seeing that, right, like...
But the thing is when it comes to the new Resident Evil 2 remake, it's got its own pros and cons. I'm rather disappointed in it for a simple fact that two major things stick out was the camera angles and the character models. Those are the only two things that really stuck out that literally pissed me off. Other than that, everything else was pretty decent, but then again, I'm a classic Resident Evil fan. Yes, I played an awful lot of Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, but that was because I was young and dumb.
Well, I mean, there's not really wrong with them, more or less. I mean, everybody likes to play Resident Evil. I mean, I played them for the sake of, the fact that they had the name Resident Evil attached to them. But, I mean, 4 was actually pretty good.
Honestly, back in the day, yes, it was pretty good.
Even now, it's still pretty good. I mean,
Nowadays,
yeah, you had the over-the-shoulder camera angle, yeah, and nobody really liked that. But, I mean, it stuck tried and true to the tank controls, at least.
well, no, not really, because the tank controls in RE4 was pretty much non-existent. I mean, the
controls were weird.
yeah, because you literally had to use the thumbstick. You were forced into doing the thumbstick.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I still don't like it. I don't like how you change weapons in the new ones. I liked having to go into your inventory because, in the middle of a fight, you can go in your inventory for a second to, catch your breath and strategize more.
I mean, hell, with RE4, you still had the whole inventory concept.
Right, like.
But the thing is it's not the originals like 1, 2, and 3, where you literally had to. You're literally limited to 4 to fucking 8 fucking item boxes. It's like.
No, hold on. I like the inventory system in 4. I did like that.
To me, it seemed like you were trying to play fucking Tetris.
In a sense, yeah. But, I mean, it taught you inventory management. It taught you space management.
I mean, that I can understand, but I miss the whole concept of throw that away, use the item boxes, and literally know exactly what you need to take and what you don't need to take.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand that a lot, honestly. Like I feel honestly as though anything beyond this one right here, except for maybe like Survivor. Survivor was kind of alright.
Don't get me wrong.
Outbreak, my bad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When it came to when it came to the Resident Evil Outbreak series, oh man, that was pretty neat. Even though I did not finish through both games entirely, it was the whole concept of, okay, you really need to rationalize on what you need to take. You're literally facing up against a whole bunch of enemies that are either typically cliched like the zombies to the unknown. I mean, hell, I remember back when I was playing Outbreak File 2, and that we had this like fucking leech type monster just come out of nowhere and just come up to you.
See, what I liked about Outbreak was that it was, in a sense, you were running the whole group. And you had to make tough decisions, like if somebody has to die, who's it going to be?
Exactly. It's like
Plus, you had your infection counter.
Oh, I remember these 3 times that I had no other option but to let that infection counter rise up to complete 100%.
Right, like, and then there's sometimes where like you have the cure, but you don't have enough for everybody, so you have to figure out like who needs it the most, who's the most valuable, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And another thing I liked is it was honestly never really exactly the same exact survivors every time. Like, I mean, they had a set number of pre-made characters, but like they cycled it out every once in a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, but when it comes to this game though, oh, I remember the first time that my dad played through this game. And it was actually on the Sega Dreamcast, and it was not called Code Veronica X. It was just plain out Resident Evil Code Veronica. And the graphics on the Dreamcast when he was playing this game were just phenomenal. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, like, a lot of, like, the not so well-known game systems ended up having some of the best graphics. Like, the GameCube version of Metal Gear Solid, much better graphics than the PlayStation version.
I mean, I don't know about that one, but I do know that when it came to, like, I know this is off topic, but when it came to, like, Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes, those graphics were great.
That's what I'm saying, like the GameCube version of Twin Snakes.
That's the only version they have, as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, they have, like, the same game, but it's Metal Gear Solid, like, 2 or something, or 3, or some shit like that. Or I think it's just Metal Gear Solid or something. Well, I forget exactly.
But yeah, I mean, this game, here's one of my favorite parts in this game. Back when I watched this on a Dreamcast, was when the first time my dad went through the submarine part, I literally thought, oh wow, that looks fucking cool.
Yeah. Mine was fighting the big ass worm.
Oh, in Resident Evil 3?
Yeah. No. Which one was it? No, I think there's a big ass worm in this one, isn't there? Whenever you're in the facility when you go outside?
Oh, you're talking about that thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a worm. I always thought it was a worm.
It might be a worm. I don't know. It's been at least 5 years, no more than 10 years since I last played this. So
I'm so excited for my phone to charge, bro.
because I'm dying to see what the fuck's on that.
There's not really on music.
Yeah, but it's been a while since you've been on it, though.
Oh yeah, there's just like pictures from work and shit like that, and music.
But anyway, we're kind of getting a little off topic of this one, though.
I mean, we're staying on topic mostly. All right. So we gotta do the pros and cons. What are your pros for Resident Evil Code Veronica?
Okay, the pros was it had, okay, aside from better graphics, God, the graphics were great. It was just the whole story in general, how they fucking peeled apart every layer.
Now, mind you, when I'm saying this, I'm talking about the difference between Code Veronica and Code Veronica X. Because there is some minute differences.
Well, yeah, minor differences.
But more or less overall the game itself.
Okay, the pros for me was the story. The story was, yes, it seemed like it was kind of cheesy at certain parts, especially with Steve.
Right.
But it was just, I don't know, everything about it was just really good. Aside from, certain cheesy moments. Now the cons. I'm trying to think of any cons on my part.
I mean, I could say one.
What's that?
I feel like some of the zombies are a bit like bullet sponges.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to kill them.
Okay, now since you mentioned that.
Because I need to explain it a little more. Because here's my thing, okay? Alright, they're pretty much the same zombies as in what's been in all the other games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, throughout the games, it's taking different amount of bullets through the same guns to kill them.
Yeah.
Like it takes, 4 shots with a pistol to down them? And it takes like fucking 10 bullets with a machine gun? Like that's a bit unrealistic.
And, well, one of the cons for me was the whole option of as soon as you draw your weapon to shoot the zombies, it seems like the character automatically gotta shoot them in the head, knowing that Claire Redfield literally has enough experience to fucking do it now.
Like, what I think would have been cool is if they like give you the option to choose for which body part you want to shoot for, and it gives you like a odds of your shot hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like a headshot's automatically an instant kill, but like if you're trying to go for bullet management, you know what I'm saying? Then yeah, that, and they could add a fucking accuracy percentage at the end of the game to factor into your score.
Basically like Fallout.
Yeah, well, not necessarily like Fallout, but like, I don't know how to explain it exactly.
It's basically Fallout.
Basically,
No.
in a sense, yes.
No, I would not do anything like that. No. Because Fallout is Fallout, Resident Evil is Resident Evil. That would not, the whole aiming thing from Fallout into a Resident Evil game, that would not work.
True. I mean, the aiming in Dead Aim worked, though. Honestly, the aiming system wasn't that bad.
All first person.
Yeah, the aiming system wasn't that bad.
A railgun arcade game type. Yeah, that actually worked pretty decent. I do have to admit. Resident Evil Dead Aim, when I played through that twice, it was actually pretty neat. I do have to admit.
It had a pretty unique story.
Well, not just the story, it's just how the game played out.
Right.
Because get this, back when I was fighting the blob version of Morpheus, he was a son of a bitch to fucking...
Right. He was fucking... I died so much to him.
Hell, there's been a few times I just fucking died in general when I was trying to aim for his fucking head.
And I always feel like, that first person sense always provides a better sense of horror.
Oh, yeah.
That's honestly... But see, they're taking it too far with like all these VR games and shit like that,
Well, definitely.
I feel like they're trying to take it too far.
Well, it depends. I mean, honestly, okay, say for instance, when it came to like the Dark Side Chronicles and Umbrella Chronicles, it seemed kind of convoluted and kind of a bit weird to play as in arcade style, but...
Right.
But I actually like the charm of Dark Side Chronicles and Umbrella Chronicles. That was actually pretty interesting. But the way this game, though, took it, back when I was playing it when I was 8 or 9 years old, it was just fun. Yeah. But yeah, it was just the whole idea of this game in general. I have an awful lot of fond memories with this. Get this, you want to know how many times through my entire life I beat this game? Only 4 times.
I've beat it once or twice. Like I said, this is the game that I spent probably the least of my time with throughout the series because it was a good game, but it didn't appeal to me like the way that 3 did. Because 3 had the ever-looming sense of the next door could contain Nemesis.
But you want to know something?
That's what I did like.
You want to know something that was actually pretty interesting that how... Okay, you want to know one thing that always gave away that Nemesis is going to be in the next room?
What?
His theme song.
Well,
Not all the time, but...
Well, yeah. But, I mean, like, at the same time, it's just like, you never honestly really knew.
Exactly.
Because with your first playthrough, you wouldn't know what's up.
And get this, back when I was a little kid watching my dad play this game, I, actually watching my dad play RE3, I was like, most of the jump scares, hell, all the jump scares were just like...
Me?
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you a game that did scare the fuck out of me.
What's that?
The original Dead Space.
That was laughable. That was literally laughable.
I mean, maybe so. Maybe nowadays, but...
Well, even when it first came out, when I first saw it, it was like, what are you trying to do? Tickle me?
I don't know, man, because maybe that's like the type of horror that really gets to me. It's like aliens and shit like that. Like alien horror. But that game scared the shit out of me the first time I played through it. Because at the time, I really never had much experience with a bunch of horror games, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't really get too much into horror games until I was about 14, 15 years old. Before that, I was mainly shooters.
Yeah.
And then I played, what was it? Resident Evil 5. I played that, and it was kind of, there were moments.
Well, hell, you want to know my first violent games that I played back when I was 5 or 6 years old?
What?
Okay, the first one, it's more of a cartoon violence type of violent game. It was actually Donkey Kong Country. That's semi-violent, but when it comes to actual fucking violent game, it was Killer Instinct.
The first semi-violent game I ever played was Tekken. The first violent game I ever played, and the very first game I ever played, Resident Evil 3.
Well, get this. Aside from Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, and Plock, there's probably some more that I forgot. But right after the Super Nintendo back in 2000, I literally, my dad literally bought a PlayStation, and the games that I remember playing on that was the Siphon Filter series, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and just my love for it just grew and grew. And another one was Metal Gear Solid, the original.
The game that made me fall in love with video gaming, bro, was Final Fantasy. I mean, I know like a lot of people don't really like the Final Fantasy series, but it wasn't just that made me fall in love with it, bro. It was that genre of video game.
Yeah.
In the video game.
True.
Like, Tales of Neo was a good game. I liked a lot. And there was also Wild Arms 4, Persona 2, Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 1, Final Fantasy VII Part 2, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Anyway.
Well, you know, it's just like that kind of game, like those kind of games are what got me deeply into video gaming. And then I discovered horror, and it was just like a breath of fresh air. You know, I loved it. I fell so deeply in love with it. I started playing everything horror related.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we should wrap up this video. Anyway, okay, we're gonna wrap up this video. Please tell us in the comments below if you want some more reviews on Resident Evil
Or any game in general.
And we'll try our best to actually review the game in better quality.
You know, we're just starting out, so it's going to take us a little while to get our setup and everything running right the way we want it to.
So, like I said, if you want us to review any more games, and if you want another part to this game in general with more detail, then just let us know down in the comments below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe our videos for more content.
And with that in mind, this is... God, I know this is cheesy as hell because this is not gaming related. But this is Dick Shoe, Detective at Large. Stay frosty out there, people.
This is Doctor. Stay frosty.
Yeah, stay frosty down there. Peace.